Welcome to the Tech Rome podcast number 1, United by Innovation, Strengthened by Consistency. I'm your host, Arslan Hajdarevic, and today we have a very special guest, Jeffery Pelletier, founder of Golf Partee. Joining me as co-hosts are my colleagues, Denis Berilo and David Rogosky. Jeffery, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having me, guys. Looking forward to today.
Definitely, Jeffrey. Definitely appreciate your time. Pleasure to have you here. Would love to start off. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, about your story, and what sort of inspires you to start Golf Partee.
Yeah, so I kind of grew up golfing. My dad is a big golfer, so he had a golf club in my hand, when I was 4 years old. So I grew up kind of on the golf course, around golf lots, played lots of sports growing up. I live in northern Alberta, so small town called Redwater, about 2,000 people. We got a golf course right kind of in our backyard. So me and my wife, Jess, we do a lot of golfing. And
that's great. So small town, you've got a golf course in your backyard. You've been around golf for a long time. Was there something in particular that triggered the idea, or?
Yeah, there was. So when me and my wife kind of started golfing more, going on golf trips, and it's usually two of us golfing. And when you book a tee time, there's like 4 spots. So when you're 2, you get paired up with 2 other people. You don't really have control over who you golf with. So kind of had some shitty experiences. I'm not don't want to trash other golfers or anything like that, but it got me thinking how nice it would be if you could choose who you play with. If we could choose to golf with another couple, or more competitive golfers, or someone that maybe is not a beginner, or it kind of goes both ways, right? If you're a beginner golfer, you don't really want to be playing with expert golfers or advanced golfers. It can be kind of intimidating. If let's say you're 2 girls and you're going out, you don't want to be paired with 2 other older men that are going to hit on you on the course all day. Like, how nice it would be for 2 girls to be able to get paired up with 2 other women and just have so much more of an enjoyable day on the course. And with existing tee time software, it's kind of dated. It's super basic. It doesn't have any of these features. So I don't know. I just decided to try and kind of build something that's more user friendly for golfers, and just really think of all these details and how it could just make golfers have a better experience. And I think that's where the idea kind of started. And then, it kind of grew from there and got me thinking it could really benefit the, courses too as a business. Cause I think if golf courses had these features, they would really have more people coming out to golf, and more people is more revenue. And it just has so many kind of advantages, right? So
I completely agree. It's golf is a social sport. How many business deals have been completed on the golf course? When you have a group of friends, there's always people planning that annual golf trip. And I guess in that case, everything works out fine because you're just with your own party, your own group of people. But when you're on a day-to-day basis, when you're just randomly getting paired up with people, I could certainly see how it'd be really nice to be able to find a group of people to go golfing with that you're more compatible with, that be more fun to play with.
Yeah, for sure. And there's kind of the other benefits of the way we're kind of building our software is, so the process now is you book for 4 people, and then I have to text a bunch of my friends and see who's wants to golf. And some guys say yeah, maybe. And then you're kind of scrambling to find people. You might not be able to find enough people to go golfing with. So how we kind of built it is, like an invite system. So the idea is like you book your tee time, and right through the app, you just you can invite 10, 20 people, and those people get a notification. They just say yes or no if they can come or not. And then, once you have your 4 people, you're good to go. And it just makes life so much easier for booking a tee time. Who wants to text like 10, 15 people all separate, or have a group chat on Facebook or WhatsApp or Snapchat or something? And people nowadays, it's hard to get commitment from people. So the app kind of forces you to say yes or no. If you say yes, you're in, and it's just super simple. And the benefits are really good with it for both golfers and courses. The other benefit is like the course, like if this works out, like the course is going to know exactly who's playing at their course. They can use all that data to like kind of guide their business decisions, buy merchandise, equipment, clothing. Is it like old men golfing at their course, young people, like, and then they can also use it to kind of communicate with with their customers, really. Like, people are going, why not gather all this data and use it in a effective way? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, both sides win at the end of the day. And I got to be honest, though, I am just shocked that no one has thought of this before. It just seems it's such a simple but brilliant idea. So it's awesome. Well, tell us, Jeffrey, more about your business background. Like how has your path in business and your prior experiences sort of impacted your journey here with Golf Partee?
Yeah, so I don't have a ton of business background per se. I'm a trades worker, kind of Alberta, where oil patch, like all our jobs are oil field related, right? But so I work in control and automation in oil field. So it's like good paying job and all that. But I've like always done research. I'm always interested in seeing what's available. And then COVID, like 2019, 2018, kind of, I like took a shot at starting an Amazon FBA business, and just was so curious about it. And, one day I was just like, screw it. I'm just going to try, see if it works. And it was like a pretty big success. Sold like, in a year and a half, I think we sold like over $1 million worth of products. And that was like my first kind of business venture. It was a really cool experience, kind of eye-opening with, what's available out there. And, if you just like, the thing is, like, if you take no action, you have a 0% chance of doing anything, right? And it kind of showed me like, if like you can figure anything out if you just kind of take action and kind of work through the steps. It's a journey, and then just like it kind of leads you down a path that you might not know exactly where you're going to end up, but it's going to be somewhere. So yeah, we sold that business in 2021, like 2 years later, for just about 200,000 dollars. So and I started with, I think I had like 20 or 30,000 into it. So it was pretty cool, like, to see the potential, like, and that I did this all kind of working a full-time job, did on the side at night, in the mornings, early in the mornings. It's just like crazy how much opportunities out there if you're kind of willing to take chances. So it's pretty encouraging experience for me.
Yeah, I mean, we resonate with a lot of what you just said. It just proves that you don't necessarily need some sort of formal academic training, business training. You need the perseverance, the desire, the creativity and the inspiration is enough to help you be successful. And you've proved that. And I love that. It's awesome.
Yeah, and now that you are trying to create another startup like Golf Partee,
What are the main challenges that you had in the first beginning stages? Now that the product is developed, what challenges did you have in the initial stages?
Yeah, so it's like when I first started looking at how to do this, is I'm obviously not a developer coder. I think trying to learn how to do those tasks is, I'd like to learn about it, learn how to do it and stuff. But
yeah, and the first startup that you had and this one is a lot of different. It's different. Like now it's an app.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not naive. I know it's complicated to work. And so, I started just doing research on like how, so I would like just Google everything and like contacting like development shops and kind of realize like that's going to be pretty expensive to, build. And then with a development shop, they're kind of going to build you something and then hand it off and not be there to kind of support you like long term. So that was kind of the question. And then I found the site Y Combinator, and then which kind of pairs you with developers. And then just started messaging a bunch of people, kind of talking through ideas and trying to find like a kind of more of a partner to build my idea out. And that's when I met you, Denis, on there, and we kind of had a couple meetings, and you guys, I pitched you my idea, and then you guys kind of went over your process, how you guys do things, how you guys are more of like an actual, business partner that has like an actual common goal of success. And that's kind of where we are today, which is kind of cool because, initially, like, had I not taken even those actions to try and meet someone, like we met, and then like it just grows into, something a lot bigger than what you even think is possible. You kind of learn too along the way. And yeah, like, so Tech 387 is the ones developing the app and working on the product with me. And, they focus more on like just the business as a whole, not just one kind of specific portion, which is cool. This brings a lot of value.
Yeah, creating a startup, like there are many challenges from creating the actual product, like especially if it's a digital or tech startup, then like marketing, sales, etc. But like you mentioned, like that there are many of these solutions out there for booking tee times, but you actually have something different. Like, what is the main thing that differentiates like Golf Partee from these from these other competitors, even in these early stages?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is just, I don't know, it's like it's 2024. You click on these softwares and they're just so basic. There's no visibility. There's no real benefit to, the customer, the golfer. I feel like they're just really geared towards the golf club's needs. But, I find as a business, probably the most important part is ensuring that your customers have a good experience. And that's kind of what the problem is, if Golf Partee can ensure that people are golfing with people they want to golf with and having a good experience, like, I think that's the biggest difference, is just that visibility. Like, you can see who you're playing with. You can, it's easy to book. It's easy to invite friends to come. And that's what we're trying to prove with our kind of version 1 of our app, is that people want this and they want to use something like this to book tee times. And we launched, just a couple days ago, but the feedback I've gotten is like, oh, wow, this is so easy. Like, this is so awesome. Like, we've had like.
And what I love what we are doing right now is that we are talking like to our initial users. We are working with them. We will improve the user experience according to that. So that's a good way to do things. like iterations.
I think taking the feedback from, the people using it and really taking that feedback seriously and kind of, changing, tweaking things to make it the best kind of version for everyone, right? Because I kind of had a vision, but sometimes it's not exactly what, people want. And you don't find that out until, you get it out there and you start getting that feedback.
You've mentioned a topic in the beginning of the conversation about the business model. So even though Golf Partee is just starting out, what makes this business model unique, and what kind of values are you giving to golf courses? So not only the end users, we understand now that the end users will have a better, I mean, when I say end users, I mean the golfers, they will have a better experience at playing golf. They will have a higher chance of getting matched. Something I think which we haven't mentioned is that we have the AI also, which matches the golfers on that behalf, and it's increasing that matching rate. But aside of the golfers and aside of that value which Golf Partee is giving to golfers, how does it help golf courses, and how can they benefit through this?
Yeah, so I think I've talked to lots of golf course managers, owners, all these kinds of things. And one of the common problem courses face nowadays is like cancellations and no-shows. And like, let's say I book for 4 people and 2 of my buddies don't show up, then, like some of these courses are charging $100 to $200 per round to play. So, if even one person doesn't show up to a tee time, that's $100 lost revenue right there. And this is happening multiple times a day. So when you start to really look at the bigger picture, like these courses are losing thousands of dollars every single month. And I think that's what the main benefit of a system like this is it really makes the golfers accountable to show up to their tee time. And if they don't, the course has that information. And I'm not saying that, like, because courses are starting to charge cancellation fees, if you don't show up, you can still be charged, because, I mean, why should the course lose revenue to just because one guy didn't want to show up or didn't give notice? So it's this kind of like the second stage of the benefits to the course. Initially, like it's data. They're going to see all the people. They're going to have names and contacts, and just building a relationship with the people that are golfing at their course. I think that's really the main benefit to this system. My vision kind of down the road is for this to be like, one-stop shop for, marketing, and courses are going to be able to market events and tournaments, to users that have played at their courses kind of through the app. And then that's just going to drive more revenue. And then the second part is like, if you're making it easier for people to golf and, more people are going to get invited to tee times, I really believe that it's going to drive revenue for courses and just increase tee times in general. And we don't have exact data on that yet, but I do believe that it's really going to increase revenue for golf courses, which is a huge thing. And probably reduce cancellations and, try and solve that problem of cancellation fees and no-show bookings, and making golfers accountable to actually show up to their tee times that they've booked. There's really lots of, avenues that this can kind of go down, which is nice. It's not kind of constrained to like one kind of revenue business model. Like it has really multiple directions like it could go. And from a revenue standpoint, like from the research I've done, courses are paying anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a month for booking software. And I think if you even captured a small portion of that market, you would be, looking at pretty significant numbers. And then you could always like turn it into a marketing platform and generate ad revenue that way. And then thirdly, like you could make premium features for golfers to use and then try and monetize the golfers at some point. If you could provide enough value, like golfers are paying for like score tracking and GPS apps currently, all kinds of things. Like golfers are kind of like techie, nerdy people, and they like gadgets and apps and stuff like that. Like I think the market's really receptive to new things like this. So lots of opportunity going forward.
The good thing about Golf Partee is that you already have done all the research, and that we are right now in the process of the traction side, where we are able to gather this data and just confirm what we can do in this sense, which in one side is very good for the investors, because we are de-risking the investment for them, and also we have invested quite some money within Golf Partee so far. So which segues into my question. So how are you planning to de-risk Golf Partee, and also what are your financial expectations to raise?
Yeah, so I think as far as de-risking, like, our goal is to get as many clubs, familiar and bought into this idea. So I think in the next stages, we're going to just really work on working with golf clubs and managers and having a projection of a customer base going forward, and trying to get commitment from courses, so then we can be sure kind of before we go the next stages that we're going to have, a solid customer base. That's our goal. And I think it's looking pretty good. I have some contacts in the golf industry, and the feedback's been very positive so far, and time will tell, but expectations, I think, I think to develop, a full suite of software for courses, I think in like 500,000, 500K range would be a good number to get this to a point where it's really, getting good revenue.
Thank you. So for our listeners, and for the ones who don't know about the From Idea to Proven Hypothesis program, we've touched base in terms of marketing and the business side, and also the holistic approach which we take, which we also have mentioned that we analyze first the business model, and then based on that business model that we create a product which will fit the market, and based on that we will be able to determine if it's worth investing our time or not, with a certain investment which we make from all sides. So if I can ask you, how did Tech 3T7 with the From Idea to Proven Hypothesis program helped within this whole process?
It's when you start something like this, there's so many details that you might not think of when you're, people just think it's easy to develop an app and, throw it on the app store. It's not. There's lots of details. There's branding and like business plan development and all the details of how all this is going to work, and then marketing and, sales and tracking all your projections. And, you guys are really good at just kind of breaking it out kind of step by step, and, working on one task. And then, at the start, we had a branding workshop where we're kind of seeing deciding what the company wants to say, like how it wants to present itself to customers. And then we moved on to like development meetings and like really nailing down how we want the app to work. And then now we're doing marketing. It's really makes it simpler than it would be. It's not as daunting of a task to have to like do all these things, by yourself, because for me, or as a person that's not doesn't have a good tech background per se, like there's a lot to learn. I mean, it's not to say you can't learn some of the stuff. There's YouTube, like there's no better time to learn some of the stuff. And I've learned lots of, things along the way. And I designed the app in Figma myself, which is kind of cool. It really helped explain how I thought the product should look and stuff. Just overall, like it makes the process so much easier when you have guidance and a team to communicate with kind of along the way. It's very helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Our approach is that we take the founder away from the things which are not sales and which are not making money, because in the end the main goal is that obviously this starts to generate some revenues, and that we can stand in front of investors and pitch the idea, and obviously engage either some VCs or angels for the future rounds. But in a nutshell, Golf Partee is an excellent B2B2C example of how a startup should look like, because you're providing the value for the customers, for the golfers, and you're onboarding the golf clubs, and you're making money all the way. So it's an excellent business model, how you can fit in this idea and how you can have multiple revenue streams from it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the biggest benefit, and the most exciting part is the opportunity. Like there's every day I think of different ways we can really monetize things, and it's really exciting actually. So
yeah, and I think that Arslan just mentioned is that like we try to narrow down the idea to the simplest flow that the user would actually have value. Like founders often like make the mistake of like visioning the app at the early stages that it needs to have all of these cool and great features without like proving the market, without proving like that the app actually works, like that the users actually need the app. So across all of these workshops and meetings that we had, like narrowing down like what the user needs, like what is like the flow that we have now? Like, can you just explain it? Like, what is Golf Partee right now? Like, what is the flow that we created together?
yeah, so currently, I would say it's really acting as like an invite and tee time kind of management system. So the process right now is you still book your tee time with the golf club like you normally would, and then you go to the app and you fill out the tee time details, and then you have a list of friends and you invite whoever you want to invite, and then you fill out like some tee time requirements. So this is like the stage where you're telling the app kind of who you want to be paired with, and then you create the tee time. So the invited players get an invite and they can choose to say yes or no. And then if you can't find enough golfers to fill your tee time, the app will take your requirements that you entered, and with the AI kind of algorithm, it'll kind of do the rest for you and try and find golfers that match your requirements and kind of pair them with you.
Yeah, and this is like a simple flow that we now can actually test with real users. And like the next stage, we publish that. Like the next stage is like the traction stage. And what is our marketing plan? Like, what is our strategy to acquire users?
Having golf, like kind of in my friend kind of group, I know a ton of golfers, which we're currently going through like kind of a friends and family, close friends to do the like initial testing on the app to make sure it's, functioning properly, to make sure it's easy. It doesn't need any changes. So currently we're going through that stage. And the next step will be to, spread it enough further to a further kind of group. So I can see, we could have about 1,000 initial users pretty quickly, just with people I know, friends and family, and just contacts made throughout the years. So we'll get to that stage relatively quick. From there, I think we're gonna, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, X, kind of attack it from all angles, and then just try and get the word out there. And the nice part is like, if I'm using the app and I'm using it to book tee times, I'm gonna tell all the people I golf with to get the app and start using it, because I think you really see how easy it is to use. Makes a golfer's life easier. So, and then it's kind of like it's just the nature of the app has the opportunity to have like an exponential growth. I'm not saying it's, going to look perfect, but it does have that opportunity to grow relatively quickly. Just kind of the nature of the invite system. And if it works effectively, like users are going to word of mouth kind of tell their golfing buddies to get this app. And that's kind of the strategy. And I've already kind of seen that even in the early days, like with just friends that have added it. I've been on the admin console and seen that, friends of theirs have already added the app. And, you'd only assume that's by word of mouth, because I haven't told them about it. So.
Yeah, and that's one side of the business, because like we have like a B2B2C business. Like, what is the other strategy to acquire like golf clubs to actually join like the platform?
Yeah, so I think really it's just going to be a door-to-door, like just meeting customers, golf clubs, managers, pros. My goal is to meet the people face to face and just really get the chance to explain, the benefits to this. And that's kind of it, like just get on the ground and just try and sell this idea to clubs. I've already had conversations with many managers and pros, and the feedback's been good so far. So, it's just at this stage, it's showing them the product and, proving to the customers that we have, that the benefits are real and it's really gonna, help them. So
yeah, it's just amazing to see the progress, like just a few short months, that you've made with the app, with getting it out there, getting some businesses and golfers on board and getting that great feedback. So I mean, it's just really exciting. Jeffrey, I'm just going back to something you said that struck me earlier on, how your entire town, pretty much works for this large oil company, and that's what they do. They have this fixed income. They're an employee, and it was pretty clear for whatever reason that that's not what you wanted with your life. I think you learned early on, and that's what prompted you to try to pursue FBA and do some other things, outside of work hours to try to get out of that. I'll tell you, we talked, almost every entrepreneur and founder that we talk to is just like you. They want their freedom, whether it's financial independence or just control over their schedule. It's just such a big thing. So I'm just curious, like, I know you're kind of in the early days here. You haven't made your first billion yet, but in terms of how things are going so far, how has that impacted your own personal outlook for yourself, like financially and otherwise, in terms of just doing something on your own?
Yeah, I think it's I got to give some credit to, my job and stuff. It's nice. We're pretty lucky. We live in a province area that has well-paying jobs, and that's kind of given me the opportunity, already the financial success. Like, I wouldn't be able to try these things if I didn't have those, that foundation. So it's definitely a positive for me. Yeah, it's like me and my wife, we go on, we love going on golf trips and, traveling around, and, but with a traditional job, you get like 4 weeks off a year, which is, it's good life and stuff. But just the thought of being able to like be more, free with your time and not have to get up at 7 a.m. and just go to work, come home at 5 every day. Or just, maybe do that, but have it building your own business. It's totally different. It provides like, even now, like it's, having that purpose and that, that possibility for that lifestyle change is huge, right? That's, I think everyone's goal in life is not like to be, financially free. People work to retire, right? So yeah, that's the goal. It's exciting, but it takes a lot of hard work too. And, it's not just going to happen for you. So.
Yeah, it takes a lot of courage. But I also like to think, just a few months ago, this was just something in your head, and now like it's coming to reality, and it's just super exciting to see that. But you hit the nail on the head. I mean, like startups are so incredibly risky. I don't remember what the statistic is, something like 95% of all startups fail. So it's taken a lot of courage for you to get to this point. And then in the beginning, as until you get that first major round of seed money, you're bootstrapping, like every dollar counts. Off the top of your head, can you think of any particular financial decision that you've had to make that was sort of critical in terms of managing, the cash that you have?
Yeah, I think honestly, the biggest like amount of money we've, potentially had to spend is money it takes to develop the product, right? And I think we've been able to keep it pretty low, which is, I've kind of done that with all the decisions I made, like just trying, not trying to be kind of responsible and just really keep it skinny on finance. Like it's just the reality, like we don't have $1 million sitting in the bank. So you just make it work. And it's work some overtime if you need some extra cash, and that's kind of it. It's not it's simple, right? You just gotta keep kind of plugging along and just take one step at a time. And that's kind of where we're at, is just kind of putting one foot in front of the other and trying to do something great and make a great product. So
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I'll tell you, one of the common things that we've seen in our experience is the technology side, because it's, there's such a temptation. Like you have this we usually founders have this big vision in their mind, and they want to have this awesome product for people, and they want to build it all out right away. And they start by adding a lot of features. They want to get to market quickly. A lot of them who don't have the technology experience don't realize how important it is to build a solid foundation in terms of infrastructure to make something scalable and secure. And we've heard so many nightmare stories about some founders spending $500,000 on an MVP, and then they get like a certain level of user base, and then they can't grow it because the thing just breaks down. And the technology wasn't built with the proper architecture in the background. And so it's so critical to be very strategic about how you're spending your money, and then don't go out for a steak dinner, right? Like just eat modestly, be modest. And so it's great to hear that so far you've been able to get through some of those initial stages. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So to get back on to Golf Partee, like what are our initial milestones? Like let's say in our 3 to 6 months, what milestones do we want to hit in the next few months?
Yeah, initially just getting as many users using it, kind of spreading the word, because if there's golfers using it and they love it, they're going to tell clubs, hey, why don't you get this software, right? So I think that's a big part, is growing that customer base on the user side initially, and, getting them to love that product, because at the end of the day, if the golfers love the product, the courses are going to be forced to use it. And then the next stage is just going to be to get courses. We have a golf club kind of admin console or platform that courses can use to kind of see who's playing at their course. And, it's actually already kind of beneficial for courses. So stage 2 is going to be to get courses to start using that platform and try and sell them like a monthly subscription for using and being on our platform. So if we can prove to them that the benefits are there and start generating a little bit of revenue, I think that's going to be huge for us to get off the ground.
Yeah, I agree. Like the plan is set in place, and what is our mission like for the next 3 to 6 years, like our long-term vision?
Yeah, I think the long-term vision is like pretty big. It's ambitious. My goal is to change how courses around the world book tee time. So it's not a small goal. I envision the product in 5 years or 3 years even being, managing kind of all aspects of the club's operations, like booking and point of sale, maybe even employee management and the restaurant, and kind of all built into one system that's easy to use, and then have that customer relationships. So, I kind of envision courses being able to communicate with their customers and, email market through maybe the software. It's kind of endless, like, because courses are already paying for, softwares like this, but they're all separate. Like, they're paying for a tee sheet software, and then they're paying for point of sale software, and then email marketing. If you could have that all in one specific location built specifically for golf clubs, you could, courses would love that. And I think really once you see the benefits, it's going to be hard for courses not to want to use our software.
Yeah, the vision is there. We created the first step, so we are going to it.
Yeah, I mean, you're solving multiple pain points in such an elegant and convenient way. We definitely appreciate you sharing your thoughts with us and your idea, and spending some time with us here, in this podcast, Jeffrey. We're excited to partner with you because we love the idea. We love your energy. I'd love to hear your thoughts on, is there anything you can leave for our audience, for other founders who are, in the idea stage or in the early stage? Is there any advice that you can give them?
Yeah, I'll go back to this isn't a super complex answer, but I think just taking even the first step, just take action, have faith in yourself and believe in your ideas. Like, if you're passionate about something, take action, do research, learn how to learn a new skill, or, it's really, if anything's possible to do, if you put your mind to it, it's the opportunities are out there for people. Like, now is the best time to be pursuing these things, right? But if you don't do anything, you have a 0% chance of success. And even if you only move that to 1% chance, by taking some form of action, like, you're still further ahead. And
it's a great point. Like, you're never going to learn everything in advance before you start, and you're never going to have everything perfectly planned. Like, you're always going to probably pivot multiple times like during your journey. And so it's like striking that balance. I mean, you do want to have a plan, you do want to, but getting enough, a combination of planning something out, but then just taking that first step, taking that action, that's the hardest thing. And then just having that open mind, being willing to adapt as you go. So that's great advice. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's cool. And then as after you take that first step, you're forced to learn. You're forced to, like, Arslan is like, hey, let's do a podcast. And it's like, sure. Like, what am I going to say? No? Like, let's do it. And then, like, I've never done a podcast before. Just one small example of, a learning experience. Like, it's my first podcast, so I'm probably not that great at it, but who cares? Like, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter. Like, it's your learning. Like, the next podcast we do is going to be better. And then, if you do 10 more, you're going to just kind of build that skill. That's just one small example, like just kind of building and learning kind of as you go. And even if this, like, let's say down the road, this didn't work out, like, I'm still going to have more skills and have learned more experience, like, than I did before this all happened. Right. So.
And this failure and learning experience is the only way, we can use actually to do something. Let's motivate a few founders. Let's motivate our audience and let them see what you are creating and what Golf Partee will be in the next few months and also years. Jeff, we are coming to the end of our podcast. It was awesome, though. Like, it was your first podcast, you did great, and I'm hoping that we will meet in a few months and that we'll do a recap and that we'll talk about traction and how this end up being a good product and that we are now worth millions. So it's said. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you on the Tech Room podcast. And, just something for our listeners, where can they learn more about Golf Partee? Where are the links where they can figure out and where they can download the app?
Yeah, so the app is live on both Apple and the Google Play Store, Golf Partee app. Partee is spelled Partee. And we also have a website, Golf
We'll put the link here.
Yeah, we'll put the link, golfpartyeapp.com. So visit the website and check us out.
I love it. Thanks so much, Jeffrey. We appreciate it. We definitely look forward to your continued success. And to everyone out there, again, stay tuned for more inspiring stories from various founders and investors on the Tech Room podcast. So until next time, keep innovating.
That's it. Thank you. Bye-bye.